Hey there, Jamie here from Keto Saved Me. Hope you're doing well, and thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So today I want to share with you my story. You know, some of you know it, and many of you don't. I was always fat. As long as I can remember, I remember my mom, the fitness queen. She tried everything to get me to lose weight. She she unfortunately was using all of the you know mainstream propaganda, low fat stuff, which didn't work, of course. So being an obese kid's pretty tough. Especially as a teenager. But I played sports. I was athletic, and I was very muscular, but I was still fat. And when you're dealing with that as a young person, all the ridicule and everything that comes along with it, your coping mechanism is food. You turn to food. So of course I just got fatter. So I was about 340 pounds at my heaviest, and that's when my health really started to deteriorate as an adult. I was already hypertensive, irritable bowel syndrome, acid reflux, and I found that I was diabetic. So I was scared, but I did what I was supposed to do. I followed the diet that was prescribed to me, which was a toxic high carb diet, which just continued to poison me. But I didn't know that. But I knew something was bad because at the age of 28, I suffered a heart attack. So it was a little bit of a wake up call, and I figured, well, it's time. I've got to really fix this. So I followed, the prescribed diet that was given to me, and I lost a few pounds. But again, it was another toxic high carb diet that I was following, low fat. So by the time I'm in my 30s, I am now a full-blown type 2 diabetic. I'm hypertensive, acid reflux, IBS, IBD, sleep apnea. I'm sure many of you have been there, or maybe you currently are. Fought debilitating fatigue every single day, just genuinely felt miserable. So, I thought to myself, can it get any worse? Word of advice, don't ever ask yourself that question. Because it did. I ended up suffering a major back injury. I ruptured my L4 and L5 vertebrae so significantly that I was hospitalized for 4 days while they waited on a neurosurgeon to come do an operation. So I underwent a laminectomy and a double discectomy. And rehab was tough. I was supposed to be up and moving and good to go in 6 weeks. 6 months later, I was still down. It actually took me a year to get somewhat back to normal, if you could even call it that. But by that time, my condition worsened. My diabetes, was just becoming more severe, affecting everything. The healing took so long from the back surgery because of that. The neuropathy just got so bad. My eyesight was going. So I stopped asking if things could get worse. I at least learned that lesson, but unfortunately, they did. 6 months after I recovered from the first surgery, I ended up injuring myself again, ruptured the L4 and L5 vertebrae again, and took me another year to heal again. So I remember I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and he says to me, you heal like a 60 or 70-year-old man. What do you mean? What does that mean? He said, well, the diabetes has riddled your body so bad that you can't heal like you're supposed to. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off, that all along, this diabetes thing is pretty bad. So, of course, I continued my Diabetes Association diet, my high-carb diet. So it didn't get any better. So fast forward to 2014. And I am officially fat, sick, and dying. 319 pounds, size 52 waist. Hold on a sec. Let me take you for a ride. Hold on. Just going to spin you around. Okay, stop. This is a pair of 50 pants. 50. I was wearing a 52. Hold on, let me put you back here. No camera trickery, I promise. Those are really a size 50. So, I was hypertensive, reflux, IBS, IBD, sleep apnea. I suffered a heart attack. I was severely diabetic, the chronic fatigue, debilitating neuropathy, excruciating back pain. I mean, I was barely able to move around, let alone exercise or be active. And, I was shooting 70 units of 70/30 insulin 3 times a day while following that doctor prescribed diabetes diet. So I didn't know how much more I could take or even how I made it that far. So I remember I was in my doctor's office, and he comes in the office and he says to me, he says, "Hey, you have protein in your urine." I didn't know what that meant. I said, "So what does that mean?" He said, "Well, you have kidney disease." I said, "Kidney disease? How's that?" And he said, "Well, it's common when someone is diabetic for so long to develop kidney disease." And I said, "Okay, so how do we fix it?" He said, "Well, the only way to reverse it is to cure your diabetes." I was like, "Well, I thought that's what we were doing. That's why I'm on this diet, and that's why I'm shooting insulin." So anyway, I was really confused. So I left, obviously, and decided to take matters in my own hands. So at the time, a friend of mine's brother was on a popular weight loss program on TV. And I decided to adopt some of the things they were doing. Obviously, I couldn't work out much because of the back. But I did the 5 300-calorie meals per day. So it was calorie restrictive, high carb, low fat, low calorie. And it really worked, honestly. It was the first thing that I could actually adhere to and saw results with. But it was still a high carb diet. I was still severely insulin resistant and diabetic. So when I got back to the doctor's office, and he, gave me, some credit for losing some weight, and he said to me, "Unfortunately, your diabetes isn't getting any better, and your kidney disease has gotten much, much worse." And I said, "Okay, so what do we do now?" And he said, "Well, I don't know, but the next step is dialysis. So we'll refer you out to a nephrologist." I was floored. I was blown away. I mean, I thought to myself, I'm only 37 years old. How can I need dialysis? I mean, it was literally like I was in a bad nightmare, and I just prayed I was going to wake up, but I didn't wake up. I didn't know what to do. I just knew I didn't want to die. So I researched and I read, and I just clamored for every piece of data I could find until I made the connection of keto. It was keto. I needed keto in my life. That's what it was. And so I committed 100%. I went all in. Okay, I meticulously measured and tracked everything I ate. I tested my blood glucose after every single meal, and I mastered it. And within 3 short months, I was almost entirely off of insulin. It's amazing, okay? It's amazing. 200 units per day. In 3 months, I was almost off. So it was keto. Keto saved me. All those years of agony and misery and suffering, all I needed was a ketogenic diet. So within 6 months, my sleep apnea was gone. No more IBS. No more IBD. No more acid reflux. No more insulin. It was amazing. I felt better than I had ever felt in my entire life. My A1C was down, and it was getting better. I lost 50 pounds. I kept pushing and pushing. And within a year, I lost almost 100 pounds. My A1C, my triglycerides, my urine proteins all significantly improved. So as of today, I've lost over 120 pounds. My triglycerides went from 196 to 35. That's right, 35. My A1C is now 5.6. It was 8.3 while shooting 200 units of insulin. And my kidney disease is in 100% complete remission. Yeah. Keto did that. So I'm still fighting, the elevated blood glucose, the diabetes, the insulin resistant, and some other stuff. And unfortunately, my autoimmunity is decided it wants to come to the party. So it seems to be attacking my beta cells in the pancreas directly, which was obviously exacerbated from the years and years and years of high insulin levels and beta cell burnout. So it's par for the course. I'm trying to not use a lot of exogenous insulin because that's just hindering the process. But I'm resilient. I'll resolve. However, I want to stay true to my mission. My journey towards healing is still continuing, and it may never be complete. But my mission will not change. I will endeavor to save as many other lives as possible. If you're watching this video now, there is an answer. There's a cure. And it's not at the pharmacy. It's at the grocery store. It's a ketogenic diet. It's diet. It's food. Food is the medicine, the best medicine. So right now our planet's at epidemic levels of diabetes, of obesity, of heart disease. And all we need is a ketogenic diet. So I'm imploring you, if you're watching this video now and you hear me speaking to you, you need to get keto in your life. I promise. Keto saved me, and it can save you too. And so just remember this. We are all individual, as such our journey. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And be well.